So, very welcome to our seventh session in the Horse Assisted Education Week. Uh, it's the first time that we had a Zoom session on each day in that week, and I took the last one. So, uh, I want to lead you through our concept, and I will start with a short video which I did some years ago, but it still covers almost everything which is necessary to know. And then we will go through a set of slides where I explain how we work and why we work that way. So I share the screen. In a horse, reality and vision are uniquely connected. Learning with a horse requires 100% concentration, presence, and awareness. A horse is absolutely a real being. On the other hand, there has been a mythological connection with the horse for thousands of years. The horse itself is a legend, a dream, a vision. The individual horse embodies pride, strength, beauty, freedom, courage, and energy. Apart from that, the horse herd conveys the feeling of protection and security, inclusiveness and cooperation, as well as self-confidence and contentedness. You cannot learn to lead. Leading is learning, says Peter B. Vail. Horse-assisted leadership training is about respect, trust, authenticity. The horse directly mirrors a person's outward manner of leading and their internal attitude. It helps us to recognize our strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes it only takes a small self-correction for us to become more like our real selves. Where people work together, there are always issues that cost time and energy. These can be caused by external or internal factors. When teams are newly formed, it takes some time to get rid of reservations and build trust. Sometimes communication fails just because of misunderstandings, or because the connection doesn't take place in a reasonable way, or perhaps because information has been exchanged before people have found the right approach to each other. In this respect, it makes sense to integrate horse-assisted training as an emotional door opener in any medium or long-term training, development and communication programs. In the horse-assisted training's learning environment, teams grow together in an extremely short period of time. They pass, so to speak, through the 4 phases of the team development process according to Tuckman: forming, storming, norming and performing. Or according to Christoph Haug, test phase, infighting phase, organizational phase, and finally the working phase. The HorseDream concept was internationalized in 2004 by founding the European Association for Horse-Assisted Education. We started to take it global with the EHIE International from 2007 onwards. Today, there are over 150 licensed HorseDream partners worldwide on all 5 continents. In the HorseDream Trainer Program, you will not learn the basics. You will get to know the HorseDream approach in working with corporate clients and horses in leadership seminars, team training and coaching. This approach is about cooperation, not about competing. We have created a worldwide community of horse-assisted educators who work together and support each other. So I very often already told you in the Zoom sessions that I am personally always working with our basic program. So we are often discussing what kind of exercises we can do if we have a special group, And our approach, or my personal approach, is whatever problem is in a single person or in a team will show up in these 5 sessions we do in the Art of Leadership. And I will go through this part of our training with some slides. So those are our partners. The dark blue and the light blue are the EHAE members. We have 2 different ways to do the training. You can do it 2-day trainer-trainer seminar, and that allows you to get membership of EHAE International. And we have a 5 or 6-day training. We call it the Horse Team License Partner Workshop. And there are some more exercises, and you can call yourself afterwards licensed horse team partner. The Art of Leadership is a 1-day training which you can use for companies, for leaders, but also for maybe children or couples. Because what we do is we start with a short introduction, which covers the topic of the training. So if we do a leadership training, we tell people something about leadership, or we ask something about leadership, that we discuss it. That takes about 1 hour. If we do a sales training, the topic is sales, and we are discussing sales issues. If it's about communication or values, we just change the first part. Then we have a nice transition video which shows maybe you know it. It's on YouTube. You can watch it there. And the outcome of this video is you can only see what you can see. So you see what's going on the surface, but you're not seeing what's behind the surface. And our workshop should enable people to see more behind the surface. Then we start with a exercise we call observing and assessing. So people are sitting in the riding arena, and we let our horses come in, and they watch the horses. And afterwards, we have a short discussion about what they saw, or what they, how the horses react, or maybe they felt something when they saw a special horse acting. And we have some questions we ask afterwards. What did you notice in particular? Which horse did you observe? Which character traits and behavior patterns did you note? And for example, who's the boss? And that's an interesting thing. So when you have 4 horses in the riding arena, and you ask people who's the boss, and maybe you have 8 people in your course, they come up with all 4. So for one, the boss must be the one who's standing in the corner and watching everyone or what's going on. And for another one, the boss is the horse which intervenes everywhere, makes contact to other horses, and so on and so on. So the possible findings for that, you can only see what you can see. There's no right or wrong. A herd is inclusive. Everyone belongs to it. You have to find your place. And what's also very important, leadership is not carved in stone, but has to be established in you in every moment. We have some additional videos about that, especially in the online course. And after that, we ask one volunteer to go into the group of horses. And there's a story about that. I will not go in all the details because that is part of our program. But the outcome of this exercise is very interesting. We had, for example, one woman who came from a big company, automotive company, and she said she's leading a team. And when she came out of this exercise, she said to me, "Oh, I saw I'm not a leader. So I think I go back to university because that's what I find much better." And then she went through all the other exercises, and 14 days later, she called me and she said, "That's really interesting. When I came back into my team after this workshop, the people had changed completely." So she's still there, and she's still a team leader. And she did another course with us some years later. There are some more videos about this. We call the exercise Face to Face with Horses. And we have best practices on almost all the exercises we do on EHIE.online. So those are results from our workshops we did once a week over years now. It started when we had the COVID restriction time. The next exercise is a leading exercise. And we are not leading the horses with the halter because we do not want people to pull the halters. We have a special ring which we put over the neck of the horse, and people do not get any instructions. So they just get the rope and the horse, and we tell them what to do, where to go. Then after those exercises, we have transfer models, and we only use 3 of them. And those are not very, people do not know them. So if you have leaders in your workshop and they have gone through so many different courses already, they know everything about leadership, and they saw so many transfer models. So these 3 models we are using are somehow different to what they already know. And there's a quote from one of the founders of EHIE. He lived in Austria, and he wrote a book, Horse Sense. And in one of his other books, he is talking about typologies, categories, metaphors are not to be judged according to whether they are true, but rather according to whether they are suitable for clarifying differences and similarities, for creating understanding, for connections and contrast. As pictures, they are one of several possible truths for the realities behind them. And then the next exercise is a kind of communication exercise in the Picadero. We are not working in a round pen, but in a Picadero. And we got this idea out of a book from 1993, which is called Dancing with Horses, written by Klaus Fenning-Hempfling, a German guy who lived for years in Spain and now since years in Denmark. And I can highly recommend to read this book, not from the perspective of doing training with horses, but from the perspective of leadership. We have also best practices videos, Zoom videos on this topic. And the next and last exercise of the one-day training is a exercise we call goal orientation. That's a very simple exercise. And when people come out of this exercise, they are usually successful. So they come out and they say, "Oh, wow, I would never have believed that it's so simple to lead." But what really happens is that going through all the other exercises have made them open for for new things, open for a new view on leadership, and they do not see leadership as a kind of work, but it's they have it in their body. So this is the first day, and if we have a team, we are using the same exercises for the team training, and at the end of such a training, very often people say that hasn't been a team training, that was a leadership training. And we say, yes, you're absolutely right, because we want everybody in the team to know what leading means. That leading is not just giving commands, but that leading is very, very hard work. And we had, for example, a group of ladies, 3 of them, and they were all on the same level. So when they came back after half a year, one of them was now the leader of the team. And both of the others were not very content with that, so they thought that would not be the right one. And they went through all the exercises. And afterwards, they both said, yes, you are the best of us. You are really our leader, and we accept it. And then again, the best practices on Zoom. And the team orientation exercise is I think the only real team exercise we do, because then the team has to build a kind of constellation in the riding arena, and all the parts of the constellation have a special meaning. And then they walk with the horse through all the obstacles, all the topics they built there, and reach the goal together. The very last part, we call it equine brainstorming, is we take the same constellation and we let the horses in and watch them from the outside. So in the beginning, we have the horses in the arena without anything, and now they are in the same arena with all the stuff laying around. And the team discusses during the exercise and afterwards. These 2 days are what we call the Horse Dream Team, the Horse Dream Trainer Seminar. And if you do the complete course, the 6-day course, the next part is about our coaching concept. So the coaching concept, I have to laugh, because actually it's not real coaching, so not what people usually think about coaching. We are using the same method. We are leading people through exercises. And the first one is storytelling. So they are together with the horse in the Picadero, and they tell the horse a story. Then the next part is an exercise we call the personal path, where people think about their goal and the obstacles and move together with the horse. And the third part is a personal constellation. There's also something to mention, because the personal constellation is similar to what we do with the team at the end of the team training, but we have a kind of different approach to that. So it's not that only the person who does his or her personal constellation is involved, but all the others too. The fourth day is about change management. And this change concept relies on a theory, or yeah, I would say theory, which was developed in Ohio at the University of Cleveland. And I would like to start with a video again, which shows a change management concept we did in California at Alisa's ranch. So we start every morning on all the days of the workshop with a video. This is just one example for it. And the change management concept, what I mentioned, is called appreciative inquiry, and it was developed by David Cooperrider. And we go with the participants. It could be one person, could be a couple, could be a family, could be a team. through 4 phases. So we start with discovery. The question is, what gives life? And we ask people, what is really good in your situation now? So what is really good? And then we have a special exercise with the horses for that. And then the second part comes, it's called dream. What might be? And we ask them to dream really big. And we have a special exercise with horses for that too. And then comes design. How can it be? And people construct their future, of course, with a horse. And the last part is destiny, what will be. And we have also for that a special exercise which summarizes the whole process. And with one person, this takes about maybe 4 hours. But with a group of 8 or 12, you should have 1 day or 1.5 days. We have two videos for that, a very long one, which we took in Germany, and a short one, which we took in California. And then that's the highlight of the whole workshop, the integral horse mapping, the systemic constellations. And the interesting thing is we came up with this concept in, I think, 2004 or 5, I can't really remember. And I had no ideas about constellations. So when we had the horses in the arena, and there were some artifacts laying, and the horses were playing with them and running around and so on. And when we came out of the riding arena and went into the classroom, one of the participants said, that's like a constellation. And I asked, what's a constellation? And she explained the concept of a constellation, and she recommended a book to read. I bought this book and I started immediately on the first page already to write the name of our horses beside the printing. And we put 4 things together in this, what we call horse dream integral horse mapping. We are working with mind maps. So the mind mapping is a really powerful concept itself. The concept of structural constellations is very powerful. The horse, of course. And then we came up with another thing, the integral approach, developed by Ken Wilber in the US. And putting all these 4 things together were the basis of integral horse mapping, so our concept of systemic integration. There is a book which I would recommend to read if you're interested in the integral version. The integral map contains types, quadrants, levels, lines, and states. I will not go deeper into this. I will only take one thing, the states of consciousness. And this theory says you have different states of consciousness. So the major states are being awake, dreaming, or being in deep sleep. And then you have meditative states, which you can get through yoga, contemplation, or meditation. You have altered states, for example, drug-induced, and you have so-called peak experiences. What I'm focusing on here is that people very often are talking about kind of peak experiences during the workshop. And what I also think, and that's a kind of explanation for me or for us, that the horses are moving into a different state of consciousness when they are together with the people in the riding arena. So when they are outside on the paddock, they are just horses. But when they get the colored holders, we used these colored halters for the horses because they were all black, and we started with Frisian horses. so people could not see which horse is what horse is which, and so they were talking about the red horse or the green horse or the blue and the yellow one. So when they get these colored halters and they are together with the people in the riding arena, they are moving into a different state of consciousness. Of course, that's an explanation. Maybe there are some other explanations for that, but it helps us to understand what's going on between people and horses. And this is an example for a structural constellation on Horstream EHA International. We build a constellation, and the topics of this constellation have special meanings. For example, which horses? We put the EHAE members there, we put companies there, we put clients there, marketing, research, and whatever people come up with. And then we ask them to decide on 4 horses which could best represent the so-called 4 quadrants of the integral model. So we have the I, the we, the it, and the its. If you're interested in that, read the book, which I recommended. And the first time we did this was in 2005 at the conference in Vienna. And afterwards, we went to California to one of the conferences of Ariana Strozzi, and we were showing this video which we took. Since then, the constellation work went around the world, so that's how I see it. We got the permission from Ken Wilber's publishing house, Sounds True, to integrate him, but I will not show you the whole thing, just the first 2 minutes, because that was a constellation we did with one of the first, it was really the first group of Horstream partners. And you will see how this works. I don't know how many constellations we already did since 2006, but they have always a big impact in all the participants. And if you do a constellation with a company on a special thing, maybe financial issues or getting customers or so, they will come up with ideas about that. And it's a little bit difficult to explain what's going on there. But for us, it's enough to know that the outcome is always really, really good and positive. We did a Horse Stream constellation in 2019 during a Horse Stream partner meeting in Germany. And that was really interesting because what the horses did during the constellation, some of those things happened afterwards. And that's becoming really crazy. And we had some other constellations where, uh, for example, a couple was involved, and what they put there was absolutely crazy. And what happened to them afterwards was also absolutely crazy. We did one constellation with a single person, and we first asked him to build the constellation on the table in the classroom. And he took glasses for all the different topics. And he was in the middle, and he put a candle inside. And then we asked him to what it meant, and he explained it. And there was his boss and his colleagues and his family and some more things. And then he built the whole thing in the riding arena. And I was there together with Karin, my wife, and we were filming, and the guy was standing beside us. And Zara, our daughter-in-law, who was working with us, let the four horses in. And what happened was those four horses ran to the part where he built his family and destroyed everything. And he was like, how they are killing my family, so what's going on here? And so after 15 minutes, it's almost uh, finished. And we went back to the classroom. And on the way back, Karin asked him, where does your mother live? And he said, oh, just 10 minutes away from me. And she asked him, when have you visited her last time? And he got pale and he thought, I think that was a half year ago. So there were so many things laying in the arena. Why did the horses just destroy the part where he built his family? I don't know. And maybe you don't know either. So this is a picture of our community. We founded it, we founded the concept, Karin and me, in 1996, and we went on the market in 1998. Then in 2004, we started with trainer-to-trainer seminars. And in 2004, in August, we founded the EHAE. And we asked everybody who was working with horses in learning process or therapeutic ways or so to join the organization. So we had some, I think, 350 or so then, but we couldn't guarantee the quality of the people. And in 2007, at the conference in Warsaw, we decided to ask for doing the 2-day train the trainer seminar to get into the organization. So some 100 people left us at that moment, but now we have only qualified EHAE members, and they are allowed to work with our concept, the 1-day training and the team training. In 2006, we started with Horse Stream partner license programs. So they are allowed to use the complete concept. And then we have HostStream country license holders in 21 countries, and they are allowed to do the trainer-trainer seminar and also the HostStream partner license workshop. At the moment, there's Carmen in Spain doing that, Alvaro in Uruguay, and Alyssa in California. She's the most successful partner in that way. I'm managing the network. HostStream is not a company any longer because during the COVID time, we could not work and we had to shut down the company. So now HostStream is the concept of the EHIE, but that means you can work with this concept, but everybody is asked to cooperate and to contribute to the communities. So we had 6 more Zoom sessions this week, and in every Zoom session there was a special approach. And if you work with the HostStream concept as a basic, you put yourself, all your experiences, your knowledge into your own training, and you develop something which is similar to ours, but different in special moments or special situations or in maybe special backgrounds. Well, this is the appendix where we have all our tools we are working with. So if you want to use those things, just search maybe Amazon for pylons, parachutes for kids, tarps, swim noodles, wood sticks, umbrella stands, big foam blocks, etc. We are working not with hula hoop rings. I wanted to buy hula hoop rings, but I didn't find any. So years ago when we started with the work, there was no Amazon and nothing like that. And I went into a market and I saw those water hoses. And I bought a water hose and these things you can connect them with. And I cut those water hoses into pieces, and those are the rings. They are flexible. If a horse steps inside it, it breaks and doesn't hurt anything. So that's maybe a good idea to do it. And there are links to some more theory parts which are from participants and some others about the Human Intelligence Summary Report, for example, and the organizational constellations. This is available for all the licensed HostStream partners. And we have Dropbox folder where our members can use videos or pictures for their own advertising. But of course, it's the best way to do a workshop and take photos or videos and take those for your own postings on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever. Yeah, that was it. And of course, I'm available for any questions or comments.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How often do you do the training sort of around the UK?
UK is special because David Harris is the license holder for UK, but he's very busy with his workshops, so he hasn't
Mm,
done any certification workshop since I think 2 years now, and I don't think that he will do any. The last two people who were interested to do it in the UK went over to California to Alisa and did it there.
right.
And we did one with one of the UK ladies as a remote workshop. So I did the theory by Zoom,
Mm,
worked with their own horses at their facility. We did this also during the COVID time with the Train the Trainer seminar. In the beginning, I thought that's not possible to do that, but then
mm,
they came up with the same experiences with their own horses because they are not used to those exercises, and
yeah.
they do the exercises. They are really, um, yeah, the horses don't know what's going on, and they themselves do not. So the discussion afterwards was really emotional. In the beginning, I thought that we can only do these trainings with our own horses, and we did everything. We cleaned them in the morning, and we were not, nobody was allowed to ride them. And so the first year, and then after, I think after some months, we saw, okay, uh, that's not necessary because the horses are not relying on us, so they are relying on people in the situations. And
Yeah.
afterwards, we did uh, training in Austria with horses we didn't know, and we did a workshop in China, for example, with horses who have never ever done that before. Mm, and it always went uh, very, very well. Of course, we have some special things inside our exercises, which I didn't show here in that video.
Mhm.
And we are not doing these things with horses we do not know, because that would be maybe too dangerous. And
Yeah.
highest, yeah, what's absolutely necessary, the highest priority is safety for people.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So it's you do training in Spain as well, do you?
Oh, we did the last trainer seminar last year,
Mm,
and we are not done with our facility here, so it's hard for us to invite people to come here. Of
mm.
course, people, that's okay, but business people, that's not that good. We have no bathroom, for example.
Right.
We have a trailer where people can go, but if you have high-ranked business people, maybe that's not the way they
Mm.
to uh, to experience such a workshop.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But we will be finished maybe at the end of this year. So I hope, and then we can start again. We have a riding tent now since half a year now.
All right.
So, that's really good. So we are not, if it's rainy or too hot or windy or so, we can go
Mm,
inside. But we have also a small place where we can work outside.
thank you.
Welcome. Okay, then I would say we can finish the session.
That was great, Gerhard. Thank you so much. Really
Yeah, I will let you
appreciate.
know when when all the other recordings are on YouTube.
Thank-
And yeah, I hope that lots of people will watch all the videos afterwards. we
Yeah.
can how many will take that opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank you for the whole week.
Yeah. And have a great rest of the day.
Bye for now.
Yeah,
See
you
you.
too. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye bye, Gerhard. Thank you. Bye bye.